This is a picture of a bakery operating in rebel-held Aleppo in February of 2016. I chose this image because it's an unconventional representation of the Syrian civil war. We tend to associate the Syrian conflict with our standard images of war: helicopters, tanks, men with AK-47s, but we seldom see its logistical background, the much less striking images of bakeries like this, churning out industrial quantities of bread, self-organized municipal garbage collection, or the maintenance of roads and hospitals, to name but a few of its aspects. Though these don't satisfy a conventional definition of warfighting, they are nevertheless of tremendous military significance. Parties who are better able to provide basic services within their territory are perceived as more legitimate, are less likely to face civil unrest, and are better able to project military power. It is therefore not unreasonable to say that bakeries like this are part of a separate but parallel conflict, not for superiority in armed force, but for superiority in the provision of aid. The international community has gone back and forth on the question of intervention in the armed dimension of the Syrian conflict. While these debates were taking place, however, the international community intervened decisively in the contest for superior division of aid in favor of the Assad regime. To illustrate, by 2014, food aid administered by the World Food Programme was reaching 4 million Syrians on a regular basis. While the World Food Programme was able to reach 4 million Syrians, only 200,000 in rebel-held areas of the country were reached. The remaining 3.8 million people who were served were in areas held by the Assad regime. Researchers have documented how this disproportionate allocation of aid enabled the Assad regime to refocus its efforts and relieved it of responsibility to provide food for its population and take its limited resources and devote them towards warfighting. My research will aim to look at the relationship between military outcomes and the provision of aid in the Syrian context. I hope to review existing reports of Syrian aid operations, as well as speak with international aid workers and people who would have staffed rebel bakeries like this one to better understand the relationship between images like this and the outcomes of war. That is to say, the relationship between humanitarianism and sovereign power. By better understanding this relationship, we can better anticipate and manage the unintended political consequences of humanitarian assistance. It is my hope that research in this area can help us to form better informed aid policy. Thank you.